Oreos generate over $2 billion in revenue each year, making them one of the most profitable cookies in the world. Ever wonder what makes them worth so much? Let's dive in.
They say on television it's America's favorite cookie. Grown-up people don't know what they're missing. Oreo, Oreo, Oreo. Well, all gone. Do, but I like Oreo.
To understand the success of the Oreo, we need to go back in time. The National Biscuit Company, thereafter known as Nabisco, was formed in 1898 through the merger of the New York Biscuit Company and the American Biscuit and Manufacturing Company, which included more than 100 bakeries. This merger set the stage for the creation of what would become the world's favorite cookie. It wasn't until 1912 that Nabisco introduced the Oreo cookie, a product that quickly became a household name. Originally, the Oreo was designed to compete with the Hydrox cookie, a similar chocolate sandwich cookie. But through clever marketing and slight recipe adjustments, the Oreo surpassed its competition, cementing its place in history. Today, Oreos are made in factories in 18 countries, producing an amazing 40 billion cookies every year. This popular treat started small, but is now sold in over 100 countries, bringing in more than $2 billion each year. We're going to look closely at what's inside the Oreo cookie, one of the most loved treats in the world. Let's start with the cream filling. Even though it's rich and creamy, the Oreo filling doesn't have any dairy in it at all. They even spell cream as C-R-E-M-E, which, fun fact, is how we spell it in Portuguese. To get that smooth texture, the filling is made with sugar, oils, and a special ingredient called soy lecithin. Here's something cool. Water and oil don't mix easily. When you put them together, the oil floats on top because it's lighter than water. But this is where soy lecithin comes in. When you add lecithin, it helps the oil spread evenly in the water, breaking it down into tiny bits that don't just float to the top. This is what makes the Oreo filling smooth and creamy. Lecithin also helps trap air, which is why it's often used in products like ice cream. Making the Oreo filling is a carefully controlled process to ensure that every batch is of the same high quality. It starts with accurately measuring ingredients like sugar, oils, and soy lecithin, which are key to getting the filling smooth and creamy. These ingredients are mixed in large industrial machines that can handle big amounts at once. The mixers have special blades that move at set speeds to make sure everything is evenly blended. Factory workers and sensors keep a close watch on the temperature and mixing time to ensure the oils blend well with the sugar, creating a smooth texture. The temperature is carefully managed so the filling doesn't become too runny or too stiff. As the ingredients mix, the machines scrape down the sides of the bowls to keep the mixture even. The filling is tested at different stages to make sure it has the right texture and flavor. Small samples are taken to check for smoothness, sweetness, and consistency. Once the filling is perfectly creamy, it's moved into large storage tanks where it is kept at the right temperature until needed. From there, the filling is pumped through pipes to the assembly line, where it's accurately applied to the cookies. The pumps ensure that each cookie gets the exact amount of filling needed to meet Oreo standards. One key ingredient in the Oreo filling is palm oil, which plays a crucial role in giving the Oreo its familiar texture without using animal fats. Palm oil is a plant-based option that stays solid at room temperature, making it perfect for creating that smooth and stable filling. However, the use of palm oil comes with environmental concerns. The high demand for palm oil has led to deforestation in some of the world's most vital rainforests, threatening wildlife and ecosystems. To address this, Oreo's parent company is committed to sourcing its palm oil more sustainably. Although the company uses only about 0.5% of the world's palm oil supply, they are focused on doing so responsibly, ensuring both the quality of the product and the health of the planet are preserved. Now, let's talk about the sweetness that makes an Oreo taste like an Oreo. The cookie's sweetness comes from a mix of different sugars, each helping to create that perfect taste and texture. If these sugars aren't handled properly, they can make the cookie feel rough or grainy, which isn't what you want in a smooth, delicious treat. Oreo packages list several types of sweeteners. One of the main ones is high fructose corn syrup. This sweetener is made by taking cornstarch and turning it into glucose, a simple sugar. Then, some of that glucose is changed into fructose, which is much sweeter. This makes high fructose corn syrup extra sweet, which is why it's used in many foods, including Oreos. Another sugar used in Oreos is regular table sugar, or sucrose. Sucrose is a common sweetener made from sugarcane or sugar beets. It's used in many baked goods because it adds sweetness and helps with the texture, giving cookies a nice even feel. Sometimes, Oreos also have invert sugar. Invert sugar is a mix of glucose and fructose that comes from breaking down sucrose. This type of sugar helps keep the cookie moist and gives it a smoother texture, making sure every bite of an Oreo is just right. The FDA, which stands for the Food and Drug Administration, is a government agency that makes sure the food we eat is safe. The FDA says invert sugar is safe, but like all added sugars, they suggest we don't eat too much. This is because our bodies aren't used to such high levels of sweetness, and it can make us want more, leading to overeating. Handling and mixing sugars is very important for making the perfect Oreo cookie. The sugars are carefully measured to make sure the right amounts are used in each batch. These sugars are then added to large vats where they are mixed together. First, the sugars are blended with other dry ingredients to make sure the sweetness is spread out evenly. Then, the mixture is slowly heated to a specific temperature. Heating the sugars must be done carefully. If the temperature is too high or too fast, the sugars could caramelize, which would change the taste and texture of the cookie. As the mixture heats up, the sugars dissolve and mix completely with the other ingredients. The temperature is closely watched by sensors and factory workers to make sure the sugars don't crystallize, which could make the dough grainy. After the sugars are dissolved, the mixture is cooled down to the right temperature. Cooling is also very important because it helps the dough stay smooth and stable. If the cooling happens too fast, the sugars could crystallize again, making the dough rough. But if it cools too slowly, the dough could become too soft and hard to work with. The cooling is usually done with air and liquid systems that slowly bring down the temperature while keeping the mixture well stirred. This makes sure the dough has a smooth and even texture. During this whole process, large paddles keep the mixture moving so that the ingredients stay evenly mixed. This helps make sure that every batch of Oreo cookie dough has the same sweetness and texture. Quality control teams check samples regularly to make sure the dough is just right. They test the dough's sweetness, texture, and moisture to ensure each batch meets Oreo's high standards. This careful handling of the sugars is what makes sure every Oreo cookie has the perfect taste and texture that people love. Flavor is a big part of what makes an Oreo taste so good. Some packages list natural flavor, while others mention artificial flavor. These are general terms used by the FDA when the flavors don't come from natural sources. Vanilla is often the main ingredient that gives the Oreo filling its familiar taste. The cookie part of the Oreo is a little harder to explain because some ingredients are used in both the cookie and the filling. But one thing we know for sure is that wheat is the most important ingredient in the cookie, and we can tell because it's listed first on the package. The wheat used in Oreos isn't just plain wheat. It has extra vitamins added to it. One of these vitamins is folic acid, which is important for helping prevent some birth defects in babies. By adding these vitamins, Oreo not only makes a tasty cookie, but also adds a bit of nutrition. The cookie making process starts by getting the batter ready. First, large amounts of sugar, cocoa, salt, and other ingredients are mixed together with a special blend of canola oil. Then, water is added, and the mixture starts to bubble like chocolate. To keep the dough from becoming too dry or crumbly, dry ice is added to cool it down quickly. This helps the dough stay soft and easy to work with when the flour is added next. Next, the dough is carefully divided into smaller pieces, each just the right size to make one cookie. These pieces are then shaped into the round biscuits we all know. An engraved roller then presses down on each piece, stamping the Oreo design onto every cookie, giving it that familiar look with the logo and pattern. This process happens quickly, with the machine able to make an impressive 5,000 cookies every hour, so plenty of Oreos can be made to meet the demand of cookie lovers around the world. Once the cookies are shaped and stamped, they are sent through a long 85-meter oven. This oven bakes the cookies evenly from all sides, making sure they come out perfectly crisp. While the cookies are baking, the vanilla cream filling is being made in another part of the factory. Once it's ready, the cream is loaded into a pump that will add just the right amount to each cookie after they're baked and cooled. As the cookies cool down after baking, they move along a conveyor belt that lines them up perfectly for the next step. This system makes sure that every cookie is in the right position for assembly. A special pump carefully puts the vanilla cream filling onto one side of each cookie. The pump is very precise, making sure each cookie gets the right amount of filling. After the cream is added, another cookie is pressed on top to complete the Oreo. This process is fast. In just 90 minutes, the factory can make up to 3,000 cookies every minute, ensuring that millions of Oreos are made each day to meet the demand. Before the finished cookies are packed and shipped, they go through careful checks to make sure they meet Oreo's high standards. This means that each cookie is looked at to ensure it looks and tastes just right, with the perfect amount of cream and a crisp texture. Once the cookies pass these checks, they're packed into boxes and sent out to stores around the world. You might notice that the packaging says Oreos are made with bioengineered ingredients. While this might sound a bit worrying, it just means that some of the plants used to make the ingredients have had their genes changed to make them stronger, like being able to resist pests better. These changes help the plants grow better and make sure there's a steady supply of ingredients. These bioengineered ingredients are tested and approved as safe by many health and safety agencies before they're ever used in food. So when you enjoy an Oreo, you can trust that it's made with care and safety in mind. Oreos have been around for over 100 years and are sold in more than 100 countries. With around 40 billion cookies made each year, this famous treat shows how tradition and new ideas can work together. As I would say, when you're the food scientist making choices about such a well-known product, you really need to know what you're doing. And that's the inside story of an Oreo. Delicious, complex, and scientifically fascinating.